Hello, 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 beautiful unicorns. Yana Kasperczak coming to you live from Ontario of Canada as your certified professional performance and spiritual awakening core energy coach. It has been my soul's purpose to help women, to help you get your shit together so you can break free from the mental prison you find yourself in and build a life and a business and or a career that you are obsessed with. And Mondays, I really love doing these card readings in this Facebook group. In case you're listening to this card reading podcast on a different platform, come and check out the group. See if this is a community and a tribe that you're looking for that will help you on your healing and spiritual growth journey. And the Facebook group is Heal the Unicorn, Emotional Healing and Spiritual Growth for Women. So, today I'm doing one of my favorite decks, which is the Shaman's Dream Oracle. And I know some of you ask, how do I pick the decks? Or why do I pick that specific deck? And the answer is pretty simple. Sometimes I get a request for a specific deck that you, as a group member, have experienced and you really liked. And other times it calls out to me. So today is the time that it calls out to me as I was looking at the decks that I have here, and this is the one that I felt like was needed. I love dreams and I love interpreting dreams. To be quite honest, I haven't interpreted my dreams in a while because they have been, it's almost like whatever I began to interpret it, because there's so many different things that are happening in my dreams. It's like I'm going and I'm living a different life in my dream, and then I come back to this existence, to this reality. And the way that I would decipher the dream is honestly those things that stick out the most and that seem to be replaying over and over and over again in my mind when I wake up, and those are the parts that I interpret from the dream and not the whole entire thing, because otherwise I can sit there and be like, oh, there was a wooden table, and on that wooden table there was a glass, a clear glass with a cup of water full, or a glass with full of water, or maybe it was a colored glass, and just really looking at all these different things. And there was a piece of cake, there was a whole cake, and then there was a slice of cake, and it was this color, it was that color, there was this friend, that friend, and they were wearing this color shirt, that color shirt. So it can really get to be a lot. But just like in life, a lot of these things that we experience in life, they they just they don't truly matter. So when it comes to even the stories that we share, the most important part of the story is the lesson that you take from it, and not the full entire story of how was the weather, was it windy, was it rainy, not getting into those details. And in dreams, it's the same concept applies. We're not meant to interpret every single thing that is in our dream. It's just those things that really, really stand out to us, that we keep thinking about, or that we really remember from that dream. So, just a little bit of a different side note of dreams, and not necessarily the shaman's dream. So this shaman's dream is first breath, beginner's mind. All of us have had and do have a beginner's mind in one or more areas of our life. We cannot expect ourselves to be experts in everything or anything that we try or do for the first time. And if we approach things that we already know with a beginner's mind, approaching it from with a mind of, I don't know anything, or I know very little and I want to learn everything. When you approach things with that mindset, you're going to learn a lot more than you previously did, even and especially on the same subjects and topics or areas of life that you already might consider yourself an expert on. There's always more to learn, no matter how much of an expert you know you are in any given area of your life. And first breath, I'm interested to hear what that's going to be about. Oh, I'm like, I remember why I also love this deck, is this one has the pages on the actual card on top, whereas some of these decks, they don't have the page of where the card is. So I have to search for it. I guess it's search and rescue party. Okay. And as you can tell, I like to really open the book, so it also feels used. So we all want to be used, because the opposite of not being used is being useless, and none of us want to be useless. We all want to be useful. So, first breath. A fresh start and renewed curiosity. Natural trust, beginner's mind. When the first breath card shows up for you, it is time to leave the old stories and tales behind. You're not meant to bring them into the future. Think about your future as a vacation you're going to be going on. When you go on vacation, can you bring your whole entire house and all the belongings with you to that vacation? The answer is going to be no for all of us. We cannot bring all of our belongings and everything with us to that vacation, which means then you got to be selective of what you're going to bring with you on that vacation. And usually the things that you pack to take on vacation are going to be the best of the best. So when it comes to your future, what's different? Why? And I know why, because this is how we humans are. This is until we start to awaken and bring more awareness into who we are, who we were, who we are, and who we want to be, is we all start off with believing that unconsciously that we are limited by our past in many different ways, and that our past will repeat itself. But when we really pause and check the validity of that statement, rarely is it the truth. So when you're packing for your future, you gotta be selective of what you're gonna pack in that suitcase of yours to bring into the future. The things that don't look good on you, quote unquote, things that don't feel good, you don't want to bring them. You want to bring things that feel good. So in order for you to understand what those things are that you're going to pack for your future self, for your future, you got to uncover what you don't want. You got to go through all of that shit, unpack it, see it for what it is, and say, I don't like this. This is why. Work through each one, and then rewrite it in a way that makes sense, that actually you want to bring with you, and then bring that into your future. Take a deep breath and another. There is nothing else you need to do but take in the new world that is revealing itself around you. Trust your natural curiosity. Our natural curiosity, your natural curiosity, is the very thing that has helped you to have all of the amazing parts of your life to this day. And at the same time, the parts that might not be so amazing but are there on purpose, whether we want them or not, they're there for a reason. And the more we try to push them away and say we don't want it, the more we will have it. And the harder it will feel for us when it comes to those things that we're pushing away, that we're saying, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. When you accept, it's like when you start to accept the things that how the example that I might eh, feel, just think of your friend, right? Or yourself. There's a part of you that's in you, it's in each and every one of us. Those, think of it as a friend, right? A friend that comes over, and right now you don't want that friend. You don't feel like hanging out. You don't want to spend time with that friend, and you push your friend away, tell your friend to go, or maybe you just pretend to not see them or ignore them. And then finally you allow that friend in and you start the dialogue, you start the conversation, and then you see why you actually needed that friend in this moment in time to help you with where you are. That's how our experiences are as well. That's how those parts of ourselves that we don't want, that we push away, that we don't want to deal with, that we avoid, that we ignore, that we neglect. It it is not going to go away. It's going to keep coming back, and each time it comes back, it's going to be harder and more challenging to face it, because similarly to that example with a friend, the longer that you take to invite your friend in, the harder it will be to invite that friend in, because you will feel shame and guilt and embarrassment, and you feel bad about the way that you behaved and the way that you avoided that friend. But once you let that friend in and you get past those negative feelings and emotions, you'll start to understand why that friend is there. Same concept can be applied to your feelings, to your emotions, to your stories, to your life experiences. By allowing them to be and to exist, you start to learn and understand them for what they are, and they're no longer holding you hostage as they once did. So let's keep going. Trust your natural curiosity. There is no need to dwell on how difficult the journey has been or how tight the passage to get to where you are now. There is no need to dwell. The more you complain, the more that you are breathing life into the feeling bad. So practicing getting complaining and whining, and another one is not complaining, but making excuses. Practice getting those out of your life as much as you can. And the more you practice doing those things, and you catch yourself whining or complaining or dwelling on how difficult the journey is, the harder it will be for you. But the more you practice not doing that, but let's say you're dwelling on something and it's replaying in your mind, and instead of replaying that in your mind, think of what the possibilities might be. One, two, three, four, five different possibilities might be of what is good, or what good can come out from this experience, and focus on that instead of the bad. Our mind naturally goes to the bad, to the worst case scenario. And then before you know it, it will create this constant sense of the pending doom, which is often referred to as generalized anxiety, where you're just anxious about everything and anything and you don't know why. But when you start doing the work, whether you start doing it on your own or you're working with a coach, you're working with a therapist or psychiatrist, I always recommend working with someone because they can see and hear you better than you can yourself. And I speak from experience as well. I can only see myself as I see myself. And often I will also disguise certain things and not see them for what they are. And somebody else outside of me can point those things out to me. And then it's like, oh, okay. And when you start understanding yourself, this is where the healing and the magic begins and continues. And you start to rewrite those things that are no longer serving you as well. Okay, so no need to dwell where you are. Just take it all in and experience the awe and wonder of your arrival at this destination. Even if it is a familiar place you have come to many times before, try to experience it as if for the first time. For you are renewed, and the old you is no longer your concern. The old you is no longer your concern. I like that phrase. Why is the older you no longer your concern? Why should you concern yourself with your old version of yourself? You don't need to. You don't have to. It might be beneficial, or often is beneficial, because you learn that more from your past than you can from your future, because from your future you can't learn it. You just create it as you go. And you can learn from your past. But you're not meant to bring everything into your present and into your future. You're meant to understand it, rewrite it, reframe it however you want to say it, and then bring that into your future and remind yourself of that and focus on that instead of focusing on the lack, instead of focusing on, well, this is how things are and I can't do anything about it. You can. Otherwise, this wouldn't even be something you'd be facing and dealing with, because you've been given everything you need in order for you to get to that next level, the next evolution level of yourself. Practice the beginner's mind, not labeling or naming what you see and experience. Don't add labels to it. Don't, and this is definitely challenging part. Don't don't write a story about what you are experiencing. Don't put it into your mind. Just see it for what it is and then keep going. And you catch yourself thinking about it, reminiscing over that, let it go and shift on maybe just focusing on your breath or paying attention to the colors around you and just naming the colors. Distract your mind. And if you're able to close your eyes, then close your eyes. And one practice I love doing is when I close my eyes. And this will help you to strengthen your intuition as well and connect with yourself and silence your mind. Is just focus on your third eye. Just feel this area warming up or tingling or feeling the heat on there, right? Like warming up, feeling the heat, same thing, right? Or seeing something in this area of your forehead and your third eye, where maybe seeing the sun, which is just a bright light, or the moon, or just colors, or even just focus on the darkness itself and just looking towards your third eye when you close your eyes. By doing that, you're sending focus into your, I believe it's called prefrontal cortex, and you're shifting your focus. So you're no longer thinking, you're just being. And in the process, you're actually going to focus on decalcifying your third eye. There's a lot of things in our food, in our water, in the toothpaste that calcifies the third eye. Think about who benefits from you not being fully connected and tuned into yourself. There's many people that benefit, and they have their hands in your pockets. Okay, so I'm going to reread that sentence. Practice the beginner's mind, not labeling or naming what you see and experience. That situation that was so difficult only a few days ago. Just be with it and breathe. You have already gone beyond it, have overcome and resolved it, even if no one else realizes this yet. It's already in the past. In other words, soon enough, they will, as you move on. Remember, when you go through any kind of experience, everyone is going to have their own perception of it, their own understanding. And sometimes you might find yourself in a place of wanting to help them and explain and shift their perception, but not everybody's ready. Most people are not ready. And they're not going to hear it. They're not going to understand it in the way that you do. It's meant to be for you. You lived through it. You felt through it. You've gone through your ups and downs of emotions that helped you to get to that understanding, to that realization, to prepared you to be ready for it. And everybody else is on their own journey. They're going through their own thing. They have a different mindset. Yes, in many ways similar to yours, but it's still a different mindset in how they understand and interpret things. And not everybody's meant to wake up in this lifetime as well. Do not squander the power of first breath, giving the old narrative mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Use it for new beginnings, to animate a world you can play and create in. Do not underestimate the power of your breath and the magic of the word. The word is the spoken word, how you speak, and what you think as well. Your tongue is a magic wand. Your thoughts. See, if you think about it, normally when somebody's speaking, you hear them speak. And there's a vibration there, right? But when you're speaking in your own mind through your thoughts, you're hearing those thoughts, yet nobody's speaking. And yet, at the same time, a frequency and vibration is set out into the world simply through your thoughts, which are consist of words. What are magic spells if they're not full of words? And special order of words and phrases that create that magic spell, that bring it forth, if you will. Your thoughts, your words are just like those magic spells. If you say you can't do something, you're right. You can't. And chances are you won't even try, you won't even attempt it. And then if you do, it will be, for lack of better words, it's going to be half-ass. You're not going to give it your all. You're going to give it a little bit. And you will attempt it just to prove that you can't. But when you start shifting into believing that you can, then you will. And when you attempt something, you're actually not going to attempt it. You're going to give it your all, and you're going to focus and give it literally your all. Your focus, your energy, and your attention. And then you will see the reward. And then you will feel the reward. And then you will rewrite those belief systems that are telling you that you can't. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens little by little. Every day, where you challenge yourself, challenge your narrative, and start rewriting it to the one that feels right. And then that's the stuff that you pack into your luggage to take in to your future with you. Hello, ladies. I see Debbie, Brandy, Rebecca on here, and Kimberly as well in the comments. Good afternoon to you all. To some of you, it will be good morning. I know there's a time difference as well. So hello to you, beautiful ladies. Rebecca says, I'm out of Facebook jail. Oh, is that what wasn't letting you watch the live videos? You were in Facebook jail? What did you do? Bad girl. No, sometimes we don't do anything bad, but Facebook or someone complains and puts us in Facebook jail. I have been there, have done that. It was fun. But I'm glad you're out. Welcome to your freedom. Enjoy it. Um, and then Rebecca says, I always stop and ask, okay, why is this happening? Why now? There has to be a reason for this. What am I supposed to learn? And I would also go as far as assume that you're actually answering all these questions that you're asking as well. Because I know I was guilty of this as well. I know many of us are, is that we'll ask those questions, but we don't answer them. And the other guilty part is that when we answer them, we fluff up the answer for ourselves so that way we don't have to really do better or change. I did that for long enough that I would care to admit. But then when I really started to answer these types of questions honestly, that was honestly it was with my coaches, because they knew me well enough and they were emotionally intelligent enough to tell when I was fluffing it up, and they wanted to really, it's like, no, 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 no. I want to hear and know the truth. And then, of course, then I would have to be honest and truthful, because this is just who I am. I don't like to lie, and I can't really lie. I can't really fib. I am who I am. I don't pretend to be someone different. And I don't put on a show. There was a point in my life, or a period in my life where I did, because this is what I was programmed to do, to be this kind of person in this situation, to be this person in this situation, to be nice with this person, to be nice with this person. Whereas now, I am who I am. I don't change for anyone. And if you don't like who I am not going to pretend. I'm not going to say something nice just because it makes you feel good, but I'm actually then lying. I'm not being honest and truthful. Sometimes it's better not to say anything. And I won't say anything. Otherwise, if I say it, don't like it, that's not a me problem, that's a you problem. And that took me a while to understand, like, what do you mean it's not a me problem, it's a you problem? You said it, then you upset me, you triggered me. But if I'm upset and I'm triggered, that's a me problem, that's not a you problem. So just because you said something and you didn't know that it was going to upset me, trigger me, that's what it means that it's a me problem, not a you problem. Because it's within me and no one knows what's happening in there but me. And a great example would be when I was going through the IPEC coach training, and we had this fishbowl exercise where just the bird's eye view of the exercise is 6 people sitting in a circle. One of them is a client and everybody else is a coach. And when it was my turn to be the coach, everybody's taking turn and asking a question to help the client to come to a resolution. And when it was my turn to be a coach, I honestly couldn't even remember what I said and what I did, because I was in fight or flight. I was sweating. I was so nervous and I was so anxious. And yet everybody said I was great, I was amazing, and they could not tell that I was in panic mode. Because what happens on the inside, nobody gets to see that and hear that and understand that. Only you do. Nobody knew that I was triggered within me and that I was quivering on the inside, yet I was calm and steady on the outside. You have done this and been through this yourself many times in your life. This wasn't the only time that I've been in this state in my life. And it's not it's not going to be the last time either. It just becomes easier and easier where I'm not in that state for a long time because I work through it and I understand what's in it for me. And then the focus is on the positive and not the negative, because in that moment, this is since then I've worked through it and I understood what was really upsetting me and triggering me. And that was the fear of being judged, not being good enough, uh, being seen as a fraud, as a fake, and being called out on that. And that people will see me for who I am and I can no longer then pretend. But at the end of the day, it's easier to just be who you are than to pretend to be someone for everyone. Rex says the old you sometimes comes for a visit. Oh, yeah. There's always opportunities that we can learn, or opportunities that we can take and learn from the old version of ourselves coming to visit, because she comes bearing gifts always. Brandy says sometimes it's really hard. Yes, it's there's going to be a period of our life for for all of us, pretty much all the humans, where it might feel like every single thing is impossible and unbearable and unmanageable and uncontrollable, like a tornado, like a hurricane that we are barely surviving through. But what always happens is that we get through it. Each and every time, we always get through it. And we come out better and stronger on the other side. Always. And we walk away with more knowledge and experience in our tool belt. But what makes a difference is the perception. Positive or negative is the simplest way to describe it. Do you walk away becoming more negative or, pessimistic, or do you walk away being more positive, optimistic? And even if you are naturally pessimistic, you can become more optimistic. We're not limited to who we are now with our personalities and our characters and our traits. We can change them. We can. We can become whoever we want to become. I'm not sure if I posted this one yet or not, but it will be coming soon. I think I might have already posted it, but I will be. But I like to write some realizations and some quotes. And this one is actually one of my favorites. If a potato can become vodka, you can become anything you want. Think about that. Right? Okay, so let me see. Rebecca says, finally changed my toothpaste. Awesome. I presume it doesn't have fluoride free toothpaste. Makes a difference, by the way, as well. And even dentists now will tell you that fluoride doesn't do much for your teeth. And yet, they put it all up in there in your gums, and your gums absorb things into your body, into your bloodstream. Rebecca says, girl, I got sloppy with my words. I'm having a hard time when it's my menstrual cycle and it comes on the full moon now. Oh, so that's why you ended up in in Facebook jail. Man, just one phrase. Whatever happened to freedom of speech? I'll leave it there. Our side of the world is not as bad as the other side of the world, if we want to be optimistic about it. But things gotta change, and the only way things will change is if we each do something about it and don't leave it in the hands of those who don't know any better or who want to see the world burn. And then Rebecca says, when I don't answer, it doesn't go away or it gets worse. Yeah, when you don't answer those questions, it's true. Because when you answer those questions, sorry, when you ask those questions and you don't answer it, it's like you don't like being ignored. When you ask someone a question, your friend, a family member, or even a stranger, you ask them a question and they ignore you, you don't like it. It doesn't feel good. It triggers you in one way or another or another or another. So when you ask yourself those questions, it's not much different. There's a part of you that gets triggered, that doesn't like the fact that you're not answering the question, that you're avoiding answering the question, or you're waiting too long to answer the question. By the time you wait to answer that question, the time has passed and you've already forgotten. And then you're feeling upset or emotional, you're not sure why. It's because there was some things that were left unsaid, and that was the answer. Brandy says, I hear that. I am like that. I have no problem saying what I feel. I am very blunt. I have no filter. That can be very good. And at the same time, I'm sure you know that can also be very bad. There's positives to it and there's negatives to that. Many of us can use that bravery and say what's on our minds, what's on our hearts, while some of us can learn to reel that back in and say less instead of saying everything. Because not everything is meant to be said. A lot of the things that we think need to be said are more so for us. And I know it's also beneficial having people in your life who are open and outspoken and very blunt, because they will be the most powerful teachers. You get to really hear the truth instead of a fluffy version of the truth, or instead of a lie where the truth is meant to be. So figuring out what that fine line is for you as an individual, and then dancing on that line. And not falling onto one side or the other. And sometimes we do go more on this side than the other, or the other side and not this one. But figuring out where or how you want to be, that is the best version of yourself, and that feels good for you and for others in your life as well. And then Rebecca says, it's really hard, but the faith in knowing that everything is temporary is a light at the end of the tunnel. Yes. Just remembering that everything is temporary. Every single thing is temporary. Nothing is permanent. Is a powerful reminder that it's going to get better, no matter what. And then when it comes to your level of awareness, as you continue to awaken yourself and your perception and understanding of the world, you will also get to this level 7 awareness, as I talk about the energy levels, the 7 energy levels from the Energy Leadership Index assessment. Level 7 perception will be, there is no tunnel. There is light, but there is no tunnel. And also there's no light, there's no tunnel. All of that is an illusion. And that's a concept that takes some time for some of us to understand and experience through practice as well. Some of you are already practicing and starting to understand it more and more and more, because you know, and you've experienced the level 5, 6, and 7, even though right now you're mostly living through the lens of a victim, level 1, or lens of a fighter, level 2, and you feel like you either have to fight the world to get what you believe you deserve, that meant to be yours, or you're in a place of things are happening to me and I can't and I won't. That's where most of the world lives, level 1 and level 2. At best, they're level 3, where they're seeing this silver lining and things are making sense. They're trying to make sense of the world, but from the lens that is going to keep them where they are without actual long-lasting change for for the majority of people, until you move to the higher levels, the higher level of consciousness, where with each and every level there's going to be less and less and less ego, whereas on level 7 there's no ego, there's no judgment, and everything is an illusion. There's also no time, is an illusion itself. The time doesn't exist, and each and every one of you got to experience that, each and every one of you, even though it might be a small period of time when you experience it. And I know for most of you, this might be the first time that you're hearing it, while for some of you, you've already been doing some work with me and understand the 7 energy levels on a personal level, that you can now apply and tap into those levels little by little, so you get to experience them more and more and more, and experience life through all of these 7 energy levels, and essentially the 7 lenses, perceptions that are available to each and every one of you. Rebecca says, I love the conversation today, Yana. I love the conversation every day. Thank you. And thank you for getting out of the Facebook jail as well and being able to join the live videos and not having to watch the replay. Because I know for you and for many of you, the live version is probably one of your favorite way to experience a video, such as this card reading. And whereas recorded, yes, it's still the same value, the same conversation, because there's no re-recording. It's live. It's one take, one go. That's it. There's no backsies. And that's why I prefer the live instead of recorded videos, to be quite honest. And I approach things in that way. There's no filters. There's nothing. That's it. It is what it is. And okay, then Rebecca says we can reprogram ourselves 1,000%. And no one can reprogram us. We can reprogram ourselves. And we're actually meant to. This is part of self-mastery. This is part of our evolution as well. We don't like something, you change it. Some of these things that you don't like and you want to change, is going to take time. But at the same time, it might not take too much time, or as much or as long as you currently believe it would. And then Rebecca says, I love knowing that it was the game changer for me. I love knowing that we can reprogram ourselves. That's what she's saying. That just continue the sentence or the comment. We can reprogram ourselves. I love knowing that it was the game changer for me, knowing that you can change yourself. Yep. Kimberly says it's awful. There's a few more comments, kind of jumps up and down. Rebecca says, I tend to speak from my emotions, and my emotions during a cycle and the full moon are not my actual real emotions because I haven't made sense of them yet, understood what the root is. So what I would say to that is that you tend to speak from your emotions, and my emotions during the cycle and the full moon are not my actual and real emotions. So you said my emotions twice in that sentence, and then followed by not my actual real emotions. So, and then also talking about because you haven't made sense of them yet and understood what the root is, which means that those emotions are yours, they are you, but because they're so deeply ingrained in those roots that you don't fully understand yet where they're coming from and what is triggering them or what is bringing them to the surface. That's what I'm hearing you say, and that is how we all are. Sometimes we get triggered and we might not even be aware of the actual thoughts that are triggering us and bringing us into that emotional state. And usually it's because you have been through this similar experience enough times that you are no longer aware of the thought process, that now your emotions are just coming up. Which means when you go through a certain experience over and over and over and over again, initially there's thought process that happens. You think you become aware of something, and it creates a certain story. And then when you have a similar experience, you're no longer aware of that story, of those thoughts that is within you. Now it's just the emotion that comes through, that comes up. That is where it becomes a little bit more challenging. And this is often also what is referred to as general anxiety. I used to have general anxiety. That used to be my middle name. A panic mode almost all the time, the feeling a sense of pending doom, this is the end, until I started to get into the root and understanding what was happening, the thought, the patterns, and really all of them come down into the four main blocks, which is our assumptions, our interpretations, our limiting beliefs, and our inner critic, that voice of the imposter that keeps us feeling small. And then also there's environmental factors around us, our internal factors. There's a lot of other things that are attached to our stories that are now felt as emotions. And on top of that, there's the season changing as well, internally within us every month, and then throughout the 4 seasons of the year, whether you see the seasons in the same way we do here in Ontario of Canada, where when it gets cold, and even the roads can freeze, where if you live on top of the hill, your truck will slide down, and there's not much you can do. You just slide. That happened to me last year. It was quite fun. But at the same time, it was a little scary because there was a neighbor reversing out of her driveway, and she was sliding and trying to get out of the way, and I'm trying to also get out of my driveway, and the truck just starts sliding. So it was fun. Needless to say, you can laugh about it or you can panic about it. I've learned to laugh about these type of experiences, because when else am I gonna experience this? Because it's fun. If you see it on a screen, you think it's fun, but when you're living it, panic, scared, fear. But when you're in that state, you don't see things clearly. You're not going to make the best decisions. You're usually going to make worst decisions ever. And at the same time, you're tapping into catabolic fight or flight state, catabolic energy, and it sucks the life right out of you. After that, you're probably going to need a nap. You're going to struggle to sleep. You're going to be tired and exhausted. It's going to affect you for the day or the next few days. So, which way would you rather approach it? Laughing giggles, like, oh my god, this is fun. Guys, hold on to your seats, right? What's the worst that could happen? Our cars bump? So? That's not the worst. I mean, that's the worst that could happen, but it's at the same time, it's not the worst. It's not the end of the world. So it's all about perception. And Candy says, I definitely am starting to get it, referring to the energy levels. Glad to hear as well. And then Rebecca says, yes, it's just all an experience, and we are creating as we go along our choices and frequency. Yes, very well said. It's all about what game we want to play and how we want to play the game. Yeah, even in this card reading, it mentioned about something about the game as well. Right here, use it for a new beginning to animate a world you can play and create in. You can either see yourself and believe yourself to be the creator of your world, or you can see yourself and believe that the world is happening to you. I choose to believe the first. That I am the creator, I am the manifester, that almost everything that happens in my life is my own self-creation. And I say almost everything because I'm not the only human that is living in this world. So like, think about it this way. You're driving in a car with a friend, and you're confident, you're good, but your friend is nervous. Who's going to win? Your friend is nervous about getting in a car accident, but who's going to win in the end? You or your friend? Whose energy is stronger? Who do you want it to win? Okay, I just realized my phone is 5%, so gotta skedaddle. Choose how you want to play the game. I'm going to, and then Brandy said I have social anxiety. That's a lot of it is also part of general anxiety as well. I had social anxiety, and it's something that the way to work through it is socialize. Socialize, socialize, socialize. Just like anything, you have a fear, dive into that fear. Go towards it and face it, and you'll see that there's nothing to be scared of. So that's all I'm gonna respond to for now. I see there's quite a few more comments. I'll go through them as well and respond to them accordingly. But other than that, I hope you all have an amazing the rest of your day. We'll see each other next week at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time for another one of these card readings, or tomorrow at the Sacred Circle, and then some of you I'll be seeing shortly for you know what it is. Other than that, until we see each other next time, have an amazing rest of your day, week. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being on here with me. And hello to all the new members. Welcome aboard. Bye.